I welcome you to PMO Strategies podcast. Here, the PMO strategies have taken this initiative to to invite learners and professionals who are expert in their businesses and helping the business houses in their own capacities and in general to move in the present areas of challenges. So PMO strategies essentially is providing the services to help businesses to move on. And the guests we are inviting for this podcast are the ones who have very extensive exposure to the profession of the project management and to businesses. So essentially, it is to capture their experience, views, and wisdom for the advancements of the businesses and for the advancement of the career of the professionals. So I'm going to take you through four stages. The one I have already started that introduction to PMO strategies. The second stage will be what the purpose this podcast essentially brings to the businesses and the professionals. The third area will be the experience and knowledge and wisdoms captured uh, by the professional who has been invited. So his exposure and experiences will be captured in the third area. Then finally, what PMO strategies offers for the businesses to move on. So let's start. And with this, let me take the advantage of introducing PMO strategies, uh, who are an entity to support business industries to move on and help businesses to move to the next level in their performance. So PMO strategies has been have the expertise of strategic project management application with the help of AI driven strategic project management and AI leverage PMO's center of excellence. Center of excellence is the terminology which really has brought the businesses to the level where they wanted to go on, and particularly in the present time of challenges. So, uh, the let me go to the next level, which is the purpose of the strategic corner. Uh, the uh, the purpose of the podcast is to bring and the value of the experienced learner professionals who have spent their life in the business and in profession, what they say and what they have learned, is particularly how they moved out from the COVID-19 challenges and what they feel that what is necessary to move to the next level in performance. So that is the purpose which is really being captured in this podcast. And the third area will be complexity. So before I go into the complexities areas, let me bring my introduction. My name is Mohammad Aslam Mirza. I am PMO Strategist, founder and CEO, and I have very extensive exposure to the business industry, particularly in construction. I spent about 20 plus years in construction and manage a construction company in CEO and MD position, and I have very extensive exposure to the business management. Particularly, I would like to invite your attention to my four books, which has captured my experience and learning into these four books. So these four books essentially are written under the theme of aura. Aura is a distinctive atmosphere of energy surrounding a person or a team who has been trained and has got the competence to move with the high performance in the profession and for the businesses. So the aura essentially is AURA. A goes for applying project management principles for organizational transformation. This is the first topic of the book. The second book has got the topic of understanding human factors and workplace environment, that goes against U. Then again, or that is respecting diversity, uh, building team, meaningfulness, and growing to leadership. Then again, or that is agility in project management and collaboration. So these four areas of knowledge brings a high level of competence and helps the profession and the businesses to move in their required strategic direction. So that is the value where I really wanted to bring to your attention. And now let me go to the learned guest who has taken out time to share his knowledge, experience, and wisdom with the participants. Here is Dr. Khalid Ahmad, and he has very extensive exposure to the profession and to the business, and he is practically working with the businesses in Pakistan and in the global arena. And before going further into his introduction, I would request Dr. Khalid to share his own intro briefly so that I may not miss out any important thing. Dr. Khalid, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Akram Saab. Thank you for having me. And basically, I've been in project management for, I guess, almost like 30 years now. I did my engineering, and after doing my chemical engineering, I spent a little time as a chemical engineer before I switched to project management. And most of my work has been in implementing project management systems or developing capacity. Done that for private sector and a lot of work for the government sector, including some of the large projects like the ID card project, passports, uh, land records. In 2010, I decided to start a PhD journey in project management, and that was basically because of two questions that were in my mind. One was how can we actually define success in a more meaningful way than just time, budget, and scope? And the other was, can we actually figure out what we need to do to be more successful, especially in the public sector? So I spent this time with the public sector, creating departments for doing mega projects in the government, consulted with donor agencies, and I'm also a professor of project management at Rifa University. So that's basically my background.
Just great. Thank you very much. Dr. Khalid, I'm really grateful for your taking time out to share your experience and learnings with the participants here. Thank you very much. Let me go further on and let me share the complexities, business complexities for the general awareness of the participants so that they can find out the challenges which businesses are facing. So these are listed down under four groups, starting from external, internal, or operational and strategic. Under the external arena, it is global market volatility, technology changes, the regulatory landscape, increasing competition, climate change, cybersecurity, geopolitical uncertainty, supply chain disruption. And under internal area, it is talent acquisition and retention, because organizations are facing a lot of trouble in maintaining their workforce who are really required for them to continue with the business. So that is the area which really needs to be given due attention. The second area is organizational culture and engagement. Now with the diversified teams plays in different part of the world, the maintaining culture and engagement has got a lot of challenges. So this is again very important for the organization. Digital transformation, informed decision making, leadership development, change management, communication breakdowns. Communication again is the basic bone for the moving into required directions, keeping everyone together and involving and engaging effectively. So these are the challenges under the internal. In the operational area, the challenges are and the complexities are managing remote workforce, streamlining processes, quality control, managing logistics, customer satisfaction, adapting artificial intelligence and blockchain, managing intellectual property, mitigating risk. Uh, and these operational challenges and complexities organizations are required to manage effectively for their businesses flow and to go on in their required directions. Under the strategic area, it involves innovation, innovating business model, identifying new market, building strategic partnership, managing mergers and acquisition, competitive advantage, fostering innovation and research and development, managing global expansion, sustainable business strategies. Now, all these complexities which I have put down under these four areas are the bare minimum, because these are being increased by new things coming up, because the uncertainty which is happening in the present time are really increasing with the complexities. So you can imagine how much the business houses and the professionals are required to face the business advancements, and to keep their strategic directions, and to keep the flow, and to keep the business sustainable with all these complexities. So that's why the learned speakers and learned professionals are here to bring their wisdom and share their wisdom with us. Thank you very much again, Dr. Khalid. And I would like you to go with the first question, that is, how you were able to help business houses and your own business in the time of COVID-19, and to move on. So, Dr. Khalid, please.
So let me start by talking a little bit about complexity itself, because I feel like a lot of times when I interact with people, and I find that complexity is somehow confused with technical difficulty. So somebody would say, well, it's really complex when you're trying to create a difficult tool or difficult device. But that's not complexity. That is technical difficulty. Complexity is when there are multiple decision makers, or there are multiple variables that are not in your control. So I usually do this with my students, that I would ask my students, two or three students, what their favorite color is. Somebody says yellow, somebody say green, another guy would say blue. I said, okay, what is your joint favorite color? And suddenly they're looking at each other, because now it's become a complex problem, because you can't really predict what's going to come out. Maybe they don't agree with any of the colors they've said, and they probably agree on white or black. And that is the nature of complexity, that you have when you have multiple variables with different people taking decisions. It's hard to predict what's going to happen next. Now, how do we address complexity is by creating some decision-making rules or some SOPs, which will then regulate everyone's reaction, which is why governance is important. So if you look at businesses wanting to work in places where you have very codified rules, and people are not making ad hoc decisions, because complexity is actually gone down. You can predict if I do this, then this would happen, right? A- and as compared to that, if you are in an environment where, like you said, there are so many different variables that you can't predict, then you're basically in a situation where uncertainty is so much that your decision making is not going to be optimal. um, Now, part of the in projects, there's been a lot of research on how do we handle some of these things. Well, one thing that we figured out is how about getting different. There are always different parties in a project. So there's like different stakeholders: the contractor, the consultant, the client, the sponsor. What if we get them to have a common understanding of what success looks like in this project? That can reduce complexity. Uh, Otherwise, everyone is trying to, chase their own success, and maybe at the expense of somebody else's success. So, as a client, I'm trying to get more scope done within the same contract, knowing that I'm actually exceeding the amount of work that I asked for or paid for, uh, because that's my success. I'll get more than I bargained for. But at the same time, your contractor is actually now suffering. And what is the contractor? How does the contractor react? Well, maybe by reducing the quality of the material that they're going to put in, because that's their success is to get more of a profit going. So that actually is a very interesting area that PMI is now looked at, and which is basically defining success in a more meaningful way. When I say more meaningful, is don't force everyone to optimize the triple constraint, because that doesn't work. The triple constraint of all four different stakeholders is not going to look the same. What is more important is to look beyond to look at value addition. And I think that's, I see that like one of the biggest change that I've seen in PM book is this concept that just came out in December, uh, of defining project management success separately from project success. So we actually want projects to succeed, and that means whatever we build or whatever we create, it adds enough value so that it's worth the effort that we've put in. Turns out that that's only possible when you look at two interesting things: sustainability, and you also look at the stakeholder interest, the end beneficiaries. So projects where you're actually looking at these two elements are more successful than projects where you're just looking at trying to manage the triple constraint. My own work, I just mentioned, is on was on the same side, except that I looked at a couple of other things which I think are very important. And what I looked at was that so project efficiencies, every business wants to do, has to deal with change. You like you mentioned, when you have all these outside forces acting on a business, you need to change, you adapt, or you would lose business. If you want, so efficiency is important. You want to make sure that the change that you're doing is as efficiently as possible, so you're not wasting money. That's fine. Then you have to look at another dimension. Are you benefiting from that? What benefit did you get from it? I've seen organizations and even public sector sometimes doing projects that have lost their viability, but just doing it because they've spent money on it. So the sunk cost fallacy happening over there. You have to also look at, is your project sustainable? After you finish it, will it work? The example that I give over here is, a lot of times that people want to do social work, and they'll say, oh, I'm going to put a filtration plant in this village. Great, it's 6 months and they have clean water. Seventh month, the filter is choked because nobody thought about the fact that when you put that plant over there, you have to really think about its sustainability. Who's going to pay for it after you've finished doing your part of the work? So sustainability will create impact. So that's important. Then businesses have to also think about how the project that they're doing today is going to enable them to do better projects tomorrow. So don't do easy projects. Sometimes you got to go out of your comfort zone and try and do some challenging projects. In fact, that research shows that if you're not doing challenging projects, your capacity never develops for doing something interesting. And then the last one is stakeholder satisfaction. Uh, do we take the time to find out from our beneficiaries if they really liked what we've delivered to them, if they find value in it? And should we wait till the end of the project to do this, or should we do this as we go along? Sometimes making changes because it would add more value at the end of the day. So that's basically an approach that you can take, and there are very good studies now which show that if all the key stakeholders in a project are willing to sit down and discuss openly their own view of what success looks like and come to a common understanding of success, the overall chances of this project delivering value increases.
Just great, really great. And I really love that idea where you said that people have got to be involved, and bringing them out of their own success criteria to
Yeah.
come onto a collective approach. I really love that area. And that's how the team can work together.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your sharing your exposure and experience in that way. Let me go to the next area, and that is how you think it will be helpful to move to the next level of performance by the professionals and the businesses together.
Okay, so I think this is a very interesting area because of in the last 2 years we've got something new that came out. I mean, if you really look at technology, scheduling tools were the amazing things that came in the 80s, and the Primaveras and the Microsofts and whatever. So that was the big thing for project manager. And then nothing really groundbreaking came along. I mean, literally, the trajectory was very slow. And suddenly, 2 years ago, we had these GPTs, and the GPTs came in. Initially, people were very skeptical of what, these are just chatbots. They're just going to be talking back and forth. But what has really happened is they've transformed the way that we are working with the information we already had. Most of the information, if you think about it, in projects or in businesses, sits as text and not as numbers. We have numbers, but they're sitting in the balance sheet or the income statements or the project estimates or BOQs. But a lot of information really is sitting on those reports. Let's specifically look at projects. When you look at projects and you look at project reports, there's a lot of narrative information of what happened on a particular day, what are the issues we're dealing with, there's claims, there's conflicts that are happening over there, or just daily reports that are happening. Now, one of the things that I mentioned was that a way that we measure success is organizational learning. But organizational learning has been particularly difficult in the project arena because, as you know, typically project managers will move from one project to another. If somebody is doing a bridge for this company, next thing you know, this project managers move to another company. So they take a lot of knowledge with them. And we really didn't have mechanisms to capture this knowledge and keep it. We did have documents, but we didn't really know how to use these documents to get to this knowledge. That's where these large language models come in a and make a big change. So in the last 2 years, what I've been doing is I've been looking at trying to develop use cases from my own project data and for stuff that I'm working with, and see if there really is a benefit that I get from this. So the first couple of use cases that I did was really interesting. I looked at this idea of risks. Now, how do we get to risks? Risks is based, understanding risk requires experience, right? You can't have fresh people coming and doing risk because they would not have encountered a lot of situations. And I found that in the public sector, by the way, I looked at large projects, and the most common risks that you have in these documents is something called NA, not applicable. That's what people write on a risk. And I found it's really difficult for people to understand how to put in risks. So the first use case I tried was we did a project back in 2006, which was a rehabilitation of a barrage on the Indus called Tonsa Barrage. And at that time, I was running a unit that was called Directorate General Monitoring and Evaluation in Punjab, which was designed to monitor large projects. So we had fortnightly reports on that project. So I took all these fortnightly reports from the project, put it into the system, and then I said, okay, identify all the issues that you can find in these reports. And great, it was able to do that. I said, okay, if I was doing a similar project today, let's create a risk breakdown structure based on issues that we've seen. So it was able to create that. And I said, okay, what are the risks that we should be looking at in each RBM? And so it was able to come up with these risks. Now, this is really amazing because now you can have someone who's not been on that project take this repository of data and generate risks for this kind of project. So that was one use case. The other use case was then I had a chance to work on claims. was to look at how we can use LLM for claims. So I just put in. So we had problems in particular, some delays coming in from sheet piling. So I said, okay, what do you know about sheet piling? When did this problem arise? What happened? Give me all the details on it. And it was able to do that. It was like, well, this is when the problem happened. This is what the PMO said. This is what the consultant said. This is what the client contractor said. And here's how it was eventually resolved. And this is the amount of time it took to resolve all that. So that's again amazing, because you can actually dig through a lot of this data to come up with claims, because that's something that happens a lot in construction. The third use case I wanted to check was typically tasks that I would have given my planning engineer would be, okay, looking at the last 4 reports, uh, tell me what the trends are. So what they would do is they will actually go and read up the last 4 reports and make a chart, and then see what is still not being solved, what new problems have emerged, which ones have been solved. And great LLM could do that very efficiently. So actually look at 4 reports and come up with this. And also I could then say, okay, based on this, I want you to say, write up a summary for senior management of what is going on. And then also write up directions for my planning engineers, or what they need to do on the field, what are they supposed to watch out for when they're doing the next report. So that was also something that I was able to do. And I'm just, so this is just 4 cases. I mean, after that, I've been playing. What I did was, for IT teach a scheduling class, and I thought, well, how about I take all of my documents, put it into a custom GPT, and give access to this to my students, so they can talk to the project. And literally they can talk to the project. They can say, they can ask questions, what happened, or they can even simulate a conversation between the PMO director and the contractor. And that's really amazing. So so the kind of learning that can happen is amazing. So I think what we're going to get is, um, we're going to get the benefit of all the good stuff that we have, which we never were able to use using these GPTs. Now PMI actually has moved a lot in this direction. So they have something called the Infinity Project, which basically they've trained on all the documents that PMI has ever produced. So instead of actually searching the PM book for what a stakeholder register looks like, you can actually type over there and say, I need a stakeholder register. It'll say, okay, there it is. When am I supposed to make this? Okay, this process, this is when you're supposed to do it. At this stage, what's our RACI diagram, RACI chart? He'll give you a RACI matrix or whatever. So they've actually done a lot of stuff in this area, and I think what we're going to see now is and this is what people in project management are saying, and I totally believe this, that a lot of work that we were doing, at the elementary level. So it's not going to change the amount of work that people at senior position are going to do. It may eliminate some of the work that was being done by the planning engineer level. So it might actually, because, like I said, the use cases that I explained can be, if they can be done by LLM, then you might actually have more leaner PMOs in the future and more effective PMOs, and you'll see a much better capture of knowledge in the future with whatever PMOs that you have. So this change is going to be it's going to be a very big change for project management itself. How it changes, are we going to lose jobs? I don't know. Maybe, but on the other hand, I feel like the amount of changes that are going to come in response to this technology will require a lot of people to enable that change. So So that might actually create a lot of project management jobs in the future to make sure that we businesses can respond to these changes.
Just great. I really love that because that's the really important things to learn for the um, professionals, that essentially AI is there to enhance your competence and your understanding of making use of it in an effective manner. That's the basic thing. One can lose job if one is not competent enough to make best use of AI. Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. And that's the important thing, really, you have mentioned very correctly. Thank you very much, Dr. Khalid, for
Mhm.
your sharing experience and knowledge. And I'm sure that the professionals will love to learn all this and make their advancement in the career with the help of AI, to the best use of AI, because AI is there to enhance their competence. And again, the making use of AI dependent on the knowledge and experience of the person by using the prompt engineering. And okay, let me ask you,
Mm.
what is your take on the prompt engineering? What the professional must do on that area?
I think so. There are a couple of free programs that PMI has, and those provide a very good starting point. So this is like not just for members, for everyone. Um, and but if somebody really wants to do, learn prompt engineering, then I would recommend, going to Coursera, and there are a couple of really good courses by Vanderbilt University on Coursera for prompt engineering. There's one specifically for project management. So that's because I've seen this. I've seen one of the biggest problem I've seen with people. Uh, they would go to AI and they get dejected and say, "Well, this is not giving me the kind of stuff that I was looking for." Well, hold on a bit. Maybe you're not able to express what you want from this tool, right? So it's very important to know how to express your requirements to the tool, and then get the output from that tool. uh, Otherwise, I've seen a lot of people use it almost like a Google search kind of way, where you just type a question and they hope that something's going to come out of it. There are a lot of so I would advise people to really invest into that. The other thing to realize is that this field moves at lightning speed, and literally, I can just tell you that um, I mean, what's coming next is agents. Uh, so we heard a couple of months back that agents are coming, and now they're here, which means uh, you know right now you were just getting output from the system, but the system wasn't able to execute stuff for you. So now with agents, what you can do is not only can you get output, but you can execute stuff for yourself. For instance, I not only want this report to be generated, but I want the system to be able to generate a report, send the specific copy to the sponsor, another copy, a different copy to the client, another copy to the consultant. It can do that. So that's coming in it's already here with a couple of tools, and the competition is like crazy. So you literally, you got you got the big ones. So OpenAI with GPT is there, but you have DeepSeek, which is pretty good for a lot of stuff. Gemini has got new models which are pretty amazing. I use Claude a lot for it's good for really good writing stuff. It's amazing. Um, so there are a lot of tools, and then there's Notes LLM. uh, there are a lot of tools. I think you should actually have a program to tell people the amount of tools that exist over there. And you have to know at least 6 or 7 of these tools if you want to get somewhere. So just GPT would be good at specific things, but then other tools are there which can do other things. For instance, recently, I was doing a report. So it's a large report. Note LLM from Google allows you to put this report in. It generates a podcast for you automatically. It's amazing, and you can send it. But people don't want to read a 100-page report without knowing what's in there. Is it going to be interesting or not? So that podcast was there. I use another tool called InVideo, where I put that report, the a synopsis of the report, and it generated a video for it, a 4-minute video on that report. So this is amazing stuff what you can do today. So you have a production house that's happening right there. Showed it to someone, they were like saying, we've been paying a lot of money for something like this, and here it is. So the tools are there, but you need to master them and you need to keep up with them. So for me, the routine is, once a week, I'm on the channel. There are a couple of good channels, and Future Tools is a good channel. So I go there every week, figure out what's new, see if it's, test it out and see if it's useful, and I'll start using it.
Great, great. The basic thing, I'm just recalling that I just went through an article which says that human ingenuity is a basic thing, and every
Yeah.
professional has got to find out where he is naturally gifted by, particularly in those 5 areas, 5 C areas, and those are creativity, courage, complexity, curiosity, um, uh, compassion, and communication. So these 5 areas are the area where one must find out what the specialty one carries, because building career in these most 5 areas will bring you better combination with the AI, and while doing that you will be able to enhance your competence. Great,
Yeah.
thank you
I
very much,
just
Dr.
wanted to add one more thing that I do. I mean, I've done a lot of seminars, and I do always hear from people, oh, this if it's done by AI, it's somehow not real, or it's not as valuable as compared to a human being. And you know what I tell them? I said, like, have you ever seen orchestra with a conductor? The conductor is just doing this, right? He's not playing any musical instrument, and as a human being, you're basically still that conductor.
Yeah,
You and GPT is one more person playing in that orchestra. So you've got humans and you've got GPTs and all that stuff. It and you're basically, you without you, that bunch of that group is not producing anything. With you, conducting stuff in a certain way will produce the results that you want.
yeah, that's right. Very correct. Thank you very much for sharing this information.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go to the next area. What PMO strategies bring to the business and industries, that is the services. PMO strategies help businesses to find out and help them diagnostic assessment of gaps in strategy and execution, strategic alignment and discipline strategy execution, which is the most important work for every organization to move in their defined strategies direction. This next area is if they have PMO, PMO strategies can help them to evaluate their PMO functions and optimize in their efficacy and in their performance. The third area is change management and cultural transformation, because without having supportive culture, no change, no advancements, no progress, no flow can take place. So this is the area where PMO strategies can help out. The Everything is dependent on the leadership, and PMO helps in developing the leadership for the development of the culture and for the implementation of the strategic advancement. So these are the areas where PMO strategies can help out the business industry. The second area of the training is PMO strategies can bring the training support to the business houses through building resilience and adaptability. This is the most needed aspects in the present time of the uncertainty, and the whole organization needs to be developed with this resilience and adaptability from the basis. The second area is enhancing communication, because communication is the backbone of the business flow. And without having effective communication, no organizations can make success. The third area is driving innovation and creativity. It is being said that present time has entered into innovative economy. That means every organization, not only with the few professionals, but the entire organizations must work on the innovation and creativity. And for that, you need a very strong functions and very strong atmosphere where everyone is working with that mindset. The fourth area is developing strategic thinking and problem solving skills. Again, this is the mindset of the team. This is mindset of the professionals. This is the mindset of the leaders to have strategic thinking and be comfortable with the problem solving. So these are the areas where organizations can take help from the PMO strategies with their support services. Finally, thank you very much for your time, for your learning interest, and to stay with this podcast and to listen to us, and particularly to our learned guest, Dr. Khalid. Dr. Khalid, before I close the recording, if there is something special you want to share with the participants, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Aslam Saab. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I think what I would recommend to everyone is to go to PMI, and PMI is also coming up with the AI standard for project management, which is currently in the review. So if you are interested in that, anyone interested in that area might want to go and contribute to that effort. And do have a look at how you can leverage the uh, co- uh, the AI related material that PMI is offering these days.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time and for your
Thank you.
sharing the experience and wisdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
With
much.
this, let me close down.
Okay. Sure. Okay.